Hello, welcome to today's video diary for finding my way with Pi, purpose, intention, and emotion. I am Pi, and today I have been observing and feeling almost like a nervous energy. In fact, at one point today I had butterflies in my stomach, and I thought, how interesting. I didn't have anything planned that made me nervous. I could not, for a minute, understand where it was coming from. So I had to sit with it for a bit. And I realized that I do believe it is coming from telling my story so openly. Bringing out the parts that were hidden and practicing telling my story. So basically, go back and watch video diary 185 and you'll see me practice telling my story, and then you'll see me recite a poem about jumping into the deep end. The story I'm rehearsing, it is still hard for me to say. It is, and hard maybe isn't the right word. Let me say it is still uncomfortable for me to say. Why? Because there were some traumas that I hid and or ran from for a large part of my life. I didn't accept them to be part of me, but they are. Right? Because it happened and it's in my life. And having left my corporate job, wanting to follow my dreams, I know that the only way that this is going to work for me to achieve my aim is for me to be authentically me. So in the corporate world, it's not really accepted. It's not a norm. And it's a little challenging. And I was in the corporate world for 20 years. So it allowed me to stay numb. It allowed me to continue to suppress and, not have to speak about it and all of that. I want to stand on my 2 feet. I want to be authentically me. I want to be proud of who I am. I don't want anything hidden anymore. So I was a victim of some incredibly difficult things when I was younger. And I don't want that to be like this secret, because when those things are in secrecy, that is where shame thrives. And I'm done with feeling that. And the other part of this is that it is part of my story, and it is part of my strengths. It's part of why I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about, the talents that I have in this world with empathy and developing people, really seeing people, understanding people, and really understanding some of the complexities of life. And I want to do work in this area now. So in order to do that, I have to own my story. Now, there's something very powerful in owning your story, in studying your life story and extracting the essence of it and mending the hurt, broken parts into something stronger that's authentically you. It's powerful. It's awfully effective for helping you set self-concordant goals, authentic goals for yourself, and doing what you love, standing within your own strength. So this is why it's important to me to do this. And it's new. to me. And new can feel uncomfortable sometimes. And it feels like it goes against the norm maybe a little bit to be so open about some things. But then I think about that and I go, wait a minute. Oprah, someone I admire very much, is open and authentic about her traumas and how it shaped who she is. And she is an admirable human being. In fact, when I think about people I really admire, every single one of them owned their truth. They fully owned their lives and who they were. And it made them incredible people to be so whole, to not deny certain parts of themselves or hide them. And that's what I want. And so while it's uncomfortable, it might even make some others slightly uncomfortable. It's because sometimes they're hard things to hear, and the emotions associated with it are painful and difficult and uncomfortable. But it doesn't make it less real. It doesn't make it less powerful. It doesn't make it less meaningful. It doesn't make it less necessary for me. So I will continue to practice telling my story until I feel more comfortable with it. And that will help me feel more comfortable in my own skin and more accepting of myself and better able to reach my potential and the work I'd like to do in this world, helping others. So, coming full circle, it feels uncomfortable because it's scary, goes against the norm a little bit, goes against the pattern that I have had in place for decades. And I suppose at the end of the day, the biggest thing is I don't know if others will accept me like I accept myself. I think that's probably the scariest part, and that I have to be okay with that. And it's not about, I guess, how accepted I am at the end of the day. If we live our lives making decisions off of that, I suppose it's easier, maybe. But isn't it also a lot harder in some ways? Maybe it's easier because it kind of conforms to some social norm, but I think it's a lot harder because there's a denial of self there that I think can lead to some painful emotions and perhaps some depression and maybe a lot of anxiety and some other things that don't feel wonderful. So, authentic self. I've learned and am learning and will continue to practice. Authentic self takes practice and effort and courage. That's part of the process. So thanks for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope it helps you too. I'll see you tomorrow.